started to share here at the beginning about the feminine has been, the feminine is just dead. Okay, and we know it. The divine feminine is rising. We know this is a conversation, but in many ways, humanity does not want the full primal power of the feminine. I mean, the full unimposed upon. Okay, so this is so much bigger. This is so much bigger. Okay, and so what? In order for, I'm speaking for me now. Okay. In order for something to move, in order for a breakthrough to happen, in order for some kind of change to occur, oftentimes there's force, some kind of force. There's some kind of force, whether what angle you want to talk about it from, right? The Big Bang, any kind of change that you can point to, the revolution, civil rights movement, any kind of movement, good or bad, right? That impacted humanity, that's in our history books today. There was a force. Oftentimes it was a collection of people, two people, one person who affected, something, right? That affected the more somethings. And when I was a teenager, I didn't have language. I didn't have language for what was going on inside of me. And like so many of us though, like, right. So those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, where you were in your mom's house and you were living and right. And you were there, but you weren't there. Okay. Because we start to get messaging young that who you actually are is not allowed. Yes. Okay. Who you actually are is not allowed. Okay. Your fullness, the way you dance, your curiosity, the way you want to explore. Maybe you were very sensual and expressively sensual as a small child, right? So anybody here? Yes, no? This is a much bigger conversation, but I want to lay some framework from my perspective and who I am and my path to help you get like what's going on. And for those of you who are at some version of this yourself right now, but perhaps you're not visible like me. Okay. So, and this is a dynamic conversation. I'm going to be here a while. The replay is going to be on YouTube. YouTube is going right now. Okay. If you need to go look at the replay later, TikTok. I was like, the world is full of lies. I just knew as a teenager that there was I didn't know it as the feminine at the time. I didn't know it as a suppression of the feminine. I didn't know it as a suppression of power, but I just knew that humanity was just full of lies. I didn't have any history to really know. I just had my whole system, everything about me was vehemently against what was considered normal. Okay. And I remember as a teenager being like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to figure this shit out. And then into my 20s too. Okay. And it was after because I got married as a young person, didn't have a plan for what I was going to do with myself. And I remember after my divorce and I moved to Houston, Texas. And that sent me on the trajectory of figuring myself out. That's one of the beauties of entrepreneurship. You really figure shit out because you're in the gray of life. You're not inside of a structured environment where people tell you what to do. And this pull in me, okay, and again, I want to reiterate for those of you who have always been different, okay, and this thing has pulled you since forever. And I know for many of us, we end up engaging in like normal things like college, right? I didn't go to college for get a job. I went to college to keep myself occupied because I didn't have a plan for my life and I needed something to do. So maybe you got into college like that, or you got a job, or you got married or whatnot, but you were there, but you weren't there. Okay. You were doing it because it's like, well, what else am I going to do? Right. Nobody around you is talking in this way that is in you. You don't have the language for it yet. You're a young person and you're just living your life. Right. And then so because that's the reality, oftentimes we just do shit as young, ignorant, naive people because we don't have any real plan. Nobody is around us that's talking in this way. And then also, I'm a Gen Xer. Okay, there was no TikTok, there was no social media when I was in my 20s. Okay, for those of you in your 20s now, you get to come look at a TikTok like this. But in my 20s, there was no Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. YouTube didn't even show up until, I don't know, what was I, 30? I don't know, maybe 28 when YouTube showed up. I don't even remember. But the point is, the way you all are so privileged to be able to come and hear advancing conversations like this, the way you can hear, most young girls are not taught about the nature of males. You know what I mean? So you can come hear women talk about the nature of males. You can hear women talk about what traditional marriage is. Like, you can come, you have no idea how privileged you are to have this because you've always had it. If you're a millennial or younger. And so when you're a Gen Xer or boomer, you didn't have people somewhere you could go where people were having these conversations where you didn't have the language for it yet because you're only 18. You just feel something deeply, but you can't explain what's going on, and then boys in your face, right? And when you're young like that and boys in your face and pressure and hormones, and you just remember when you were 18, it's just 20, and it's just shit is all over the place. And you start making all these decisions, which is easy to get off track with because you don't have anything nurturing this on the inside. And what the deeper call pulling you. And I remember living in Houston, and I started dating this guy, got caught up in that. And being in that relationship with him started to have me see myself, okay? Because outside of the marriage, I felt like I could live now, like I could, right? Because we won't get into that, but I just felt like I could, okay, now I can start to get to know myself. I could go, like, find out this stuff about me that I can feel, but I don't know it. Like, what is this kind of thing, right? And being in that relationship with him, it was such a reflection because he would say things to me and I'd be like, oh shit, like, right? And it was where I really started to have somebody reflect back to me how different I was, but who had a problem with me being different. This was one of the first times in my adult life that I experienced a sexual partner not liking my difference. So I'm like 27-ish at the time, okay? And so this is my first time now experiencing this. So then it's really weird. Like, it's like he would say like things that I thought was just normal, just me being me. He'd be like, just uncomfortable with money I was making, being new. Like, I didn't know anybody when I moved to Houston, but I was ambitious. I was curious. I was hungry, and he had a problem with it. And then my power, I was not aware of how naturally powerful I was when I met him. I was not aware, but he saw it. He was like 12 or 13 years older than me. He saw it, and he told me straight up, you're powerful, and that scares me. Okay. So this starts to happen, right? And keep in mind, I'm like, I've moved to Houston because I want to get to know myself at a deeper level. This is a bigger conversation, people. Okay, hang in there. If you need to leave, fine. Come back and look at the replay on YouTube later. And still, that deeper thing kept driving me to know, what am I being pulled? What is something is in me wanting to come, do, express, go. Something in me compelled me. And so I started a company. I was successful with it. I had fun, all that. And then the hunger to do more, the whole God call happened. And I could tell the story about all that. I won't. But anyway, ended up selling the company, came into the coaching space. So this is when I started publishing content as I told you, May 2011. Published my first piece of content on YouTube, okay? And I think it was May 7th, 2011. And, young person, there was no social media other than YouTube and maybe MySpace. And I was terrified. Nobody was talking about the things that I was thinking about. And so, boom, started doing that. And then I kept with it. And keep in mind, this thing in me was driving me. This is from 17, 15, 14 years old. This thing is pulling me. Every year, this thing is pulling me. I'm not talking to anybody about it because I don't have language for this thing. I just know that it's in me. And so I'm just going through life, dating men, go to college, graduate from college, married, divorced, move to another city. I'm going through all this. And this thing quietly inside of me governing my steps, but I'm never talking about it because I don't have language and nobody around me is talking about it. Anybody here have this in their experience, have experienced this in the past, experiencing this now? Anybody? Helen, Key. Yes, okay. So that was my reality. And so when you're like some of you may be, you're naive. You're blind inadvertently. You're not like choosing to be blind. It's not very conscious to you that you're blind, but you're blind. And living in a world that vehemently rejects the feminine. Okay. The world rejects the feminine because the energetic religious structures that constitute normal life for men and women designed it to reject the feminine. We're all just living inside of a construct that was designed to remove the feminine. Okay, this is like, please remember, this is a deeper, bigger conversation. This is deeper and bigger, and this is about the future, people. This is about the future, okay? This is far beyond today. This is far beyond Trump. This is the future, okay? Future, future, future. And we need to catch up immediately for those of us, particularly who are of this essence that I'm talking about. And so like some of y'all who have screaming at God. I had a woman message me or something yesterday, sometime recently, and was like, I've been screaming at God, punch in the air. That was me too, punch in the air, because you want answers. And you literally, who here has been in a room or wherever punching, like you punching God? Like, bitch, show me what to do. Anybody? Literally been on your knees in your room crying, wailing. This shit is off. You done got jobs, you got college degrees, you done all the shit that people do that's supposed to be the thing to do, and you like, never, this ain't it. And I'm gonna kill somebody if I don't get no. See, this ain't anybody. See, yes, all that. Yes. It's funny, Wonderland. It's funny. In hindsight, it can be funny, huh? And so I remember doing my version of prayer and being like, because I was entrepreneur in coaching, but I wasn't, it was struggle. And I was like, listen, I've been following this thing. Keep in mind, I'm by myself. There is no TikTok for me to go drown myself in the way some of y'all like to do. I'm like, listen, okay, I've been on this trajectory. I've been following this thing for years. I'm walking this path by myself. I'm doing this thing that I got guided to do because coaching was a God call. I know y'all know coaching today to be a thing, to be an industry. When I got into coaching, I didn't even know there was such thing as a coaching industry. I just knew I wanted to help people. Okay. The way y'all see coaches all over the place talking about selling packages, that was not a thing in 2011. Coaching all widespread. In 2011, it was Tony Robbins and all of the white men. That's what it was. And a few older white women. They was the first, there was no black women out there like that. And if they were quiet. They wasn't big. Okay. I didn't know of them. Okay. And I didn't find out about black women coaches successful until some years after I got into the coaching space. So I'm like, I need to be shown the way. So I got introduced to a conference that I've talked about here time and time again. I was sincere. I need to know. What is going on. Come on. And when I had my second dark night of the soul, okay? Now, a lot of y'all have dark night of the souls repeatedly because you don't let yourself go down and stay down to get the gold. You get knocked down by life. You end up in a suicidal, depressive state, but you're in a hurry to get out because you don't like how it feels. It's deeply uncomfortable. It's humiliating, embarrassing. You don't have answers. And because it's so deeply uncomfortable, you fight like hell to get out fast. So you never get the fucking high level transformational wisdom that will catapult you to the next level and really have you be at a level you can sustain. That's what most people do with a dark night of the soul. Okay. And I remember being in this dark night of the soul and like really staying in the bottom of it, because I could feel that even though it felt horrible and I was not bathing for days at a time, I was thinking, I was drinking myself to sleep. Something in me knew that I needed to stay here and get whatever it is that had me get here to begin with. Okay? I'm telling you, dark night of the souls can elevate your life. They will elevate your life when you fully submit to a horrible, embarrassing, filthy dark night of the soul. See, this is the kind of shit, people wasn't talking about this in 2013. This is when I had my dark night of the soul. This is what, 10, 11 years ago. People wasn't talking like this. Definitely not no Black women. So when you by yourself trying to get it, and all you got is you and you and you, and whatever is your universe, ancestor, God, whoever it is you talking to, that's all you got, figuring it out. Y'all so privileged, y'all don't even know. Social media right now. That's why y'all got no excuses, zero, zilch, none. And excuses don't even matter when you get desperate enough. When you get desperate enough, excuses don't even have no motherfucking weight no more. Get desperate enough. Okay? That's why motherfucker got excuses. I was like, nigga, you ain't hit the bottom yet, nigga. If your excuses and your fear is still working, oh, you ain't hit the bottom yet. So go ahead, keep going. Get to that bottom, bitch. Fear ain't gonna have a chance. Okay? So anyway, down in this dark night of the soul, when I tell you, the main thing I want to bring about here today, about what really opened me up, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful for obedience. You cannot fake obedience. Obedience is not something you get on the internet, and obedience is horrible. It's terrifying. It's a fucking mess. It's like, obedience is not pretty. Motherfuckers get on here and talk. If niggas was being obedient, if niggas was being obedient, the way we would be leading shit, Black men, Black women together, niggas ain't obedient. I know what obedience looks like. It's inconvenient. Obedience is inconvenient. It destroys everything that you've created thus far. Nah, I know too much. Anyway, the one thing that came out of this dark night of the soul was the power of primal power, sex power, primal sexual power, erotic, full Get out of here if you don't get what I mean when I say obedient. This is a high level conversation. Some of y'all gonna need to come and watch the replay. Some of y'all need to go live a little longer before you can even engage in a conversation like this. If you have watched me for the last, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and your question is obedient to what, this conversation is beyond you, and that's okay. Okay. This is when I first started to experientially, not because I read in a book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, and oh my God, such a powerful book. I'm going to put this on my TikTok shop, and oh my God, such a powerful book. This is the first time that I had firsthand. This is the thing that's been guiding my steps all this time, that I've been running from, hiding from in varying degrees and didn't even know it. In 2013, and even still today, all we gotta do is look around. This embarrassing power, it's embarrassing. What makes it embarrassing? There's no identity attached to it. There's no like, yeah, because I'm a deity, I'm a goddess, because I'm powerful, because I'm a mom. Whatever is the identity that you have, every woman has one. You know, I'm a PhD, married mom of 3, whatever is the identity. Riveting the power that the church suppressed long time ago, that has enabled them to entrap all of humanity. Entrap all of humanity at a deep mind level, So let me fast forward this. The way, this is where we are now. And so I need help. Because what's going to happen is there's going to be great disturbance. And you're going to, okay, boom. And then, so part of what the disturbance is going to be are the people who are not emotionally developed. There was a man, I don't know if y'all saw it. I put up a piece of content earlier this morning, and a man, I'm pretty sure he was melanin dominant, even though he had no profile photo. The energy, I could feel it, and the words he used. He said something, and I could tell by his word usage and tone that he didn't get, and that he's not experienced with the feminine, and he didn't get where I was coming from. But it's not that. That's fine. There's going to be that happening where we are getting to know this power in relationship with each other. That's fine that he didn't get it. It was the way he handled it. So it's not him. It's everybody who vibrates like him. It's everybody who's at the emotional maturity or lack of maturity as him. It's all the men, not just melanin dominant, all the men, all the women, like the person here who said, what is obedient? The person here, like even just different people for those of you who have been here, you see different people coming in and they're not with it. They don't get it. They say mean things. They say, whatever. And here's I want to say, okay. There are hands on my life that has helped me to be able to keep doing shit that most people are not going to do alone. I've done terribly difficult things because my system won't let me just but I can also see how so many women, powerful women, end up in loops, just can't get themselves out of the shit that they have created. I can see the density of the loops. I can see the density of the consciousness that permeates humanity. This shit is fucking wild, people. It is fucking wild. This shit is just so here's the thing. One, you need to respect all the melanin dominant women who are watching me right now, who know yourself to be powerful. You're not currently, I need you, I want you, and you're not yet at the vibrational level to move the way you see me moving. I want to talk to your ego and your high self right now. Part of what I've seen, we need to navigate this, what I'm talking about right here, for us to create history, okay? What has been a pattern I've noticed in my reality with women, powerful women who are, they have the call to ascend. They have a call to do their distinct work in the world. And a couple things. One, most of us are operating very masculine. We have titties, we fucking everything, but we're very neck up. We're very logical. We're very forced, and we lack intimacy with our unconscious minds. So what that ends up creating is that your high self calls you. So that's part of what's pulling you to move forward and to ascend and to elevate. But because you are so neck up, which means you're not connected with this, you're so like most women who are in avoidance of their full primal feminine power. And then your head is making you do all of this stuff that your body can't keep up with, and you lack the intimacy with your unconscious mind. When you come meet somebody like me who's experientially advanced, okay, who lives in the world of embarrassment, who lives in the world of lack of identity, which allows me to be able to see and penetrate, because the power your ego mind, the power your ego mind has about being this big, it's not penetrating. It's not penetrating at the levels that your high self wants to go. It's not penetrating in the levels that's going to create history in a way that's actually useful to the sustainability of all of humanity rising. And so, one, I want us to work together in whatever way we are called to work together, but you need to respect your position where you are. You need to respect my position and where I am, because I have walked this path of obedience for over a decade, consciously. And prior to that, I was walking it and didn't know I was walking it. Why am I saying this? Because in order for us to work together, we need to work together. We need to work together. If the clash causes you to not be able to stay, if your lack of intimacy with your unconscious mind, your lack of honesty, your lack of familiarity with your intense emotions, which is the common experience for you, because keep in mind, the feminine is disrespected. So that means you are constantly disrespecting yourself, because it's just in the ecosystem of consciousness of the invisible realm that's affecting the 3D realm. It's just in the ecosystem of things. You got to know this. You got to accept this. You got to respect this so that we can work together. Now, this man, I want to say something here about this man and this is something that I'm penetrating, and I'm coming into it at a whole new level, because I'm not backing down off this fucking thing. I'm not backing down. Somebody said there's no sound on YouTube. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me on TikTok? I'm going to upload this replay to TikTok. To YouTube. Can y'all hear me, TikTok? Okay, y'all can hear me. Somebody on YouTube said they can't, there's no sound. Whatever. No, I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to take this and download it and upload it to YouTube, okay? Okay, so there is, like in the Matrix, okay, so this may sound weird, okay? Like interception, like how she just said, there's no sound now, all of a sudden. What the fuck is going on? I don't know. There is an interception in the receptivity of the melanin dominant man. There is an interception. Okay, how you see how all of us are seeing it with them, and we're like, something is off. There is an interception. And also, in order for us to penetrate, the power needs to be clear. Ego is a form of friction. It's like an interception. It gets in the way of where your high self is calling you to go. So you need the skill to be able to interact with the friction, so the friction doesn't take you out. So the melanin dominant man, there is a high level of friction. It's in you too, but I'm talking about him right now. The melanin dominant man, it intercepts the ability for us to work together. It intercepts his ability to even be able to see, hear, see us clearly, be in relationship clearly, work together clearly. That man who commented on my thing, it's like I could see the part of him that has wisdom and the part of him that didn't have the the maturation inside of his wholeness to be able to connect, particularly with women who are coming into full primal power. Okay, there's a piece of content that's going to go up that I created that's talking about most men do not have experience with women. They don't have experience with women. They have experience with female gendered beings who cook, have babies, and exist with them in a house together. They're not experienced with full powered women who walk around with full power in their bodies, who know who they are, who are authorities over their being. Most men are not familiar with being in relationship with that kind of woman. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So this is part of, you've heard so much on the internet about the rise of the divine feminine and men are having a hard time and women are now independent and women are making their own money. That's just the infancy stages of this, of the whole women being independent, making their own money and da, 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 da. Those are the beginner infancy stages of women becoming women. Okay. Now, I need to say more about this primal power. Full power, embarrassing power, embarrassing power, embarrassing power. I'm calling you. I just had a sense to call you. I'm going to fly to you right now. I just got a sense to fly to you. Well, we're going to do this right now. Come on. And you respecting that, responding to that. Go. Your mind, let's go. Your mind. And allowing yourself to penetrate. Okay. And remaining open to it so you get the wisdom that's pulling you every single time. This is a version of obedience. And when you actually do that, you start to hit up against everything that like the prison that you've created, you start to hit up. So, and this is the way versus like, let me sit and think about it. Let me go. These masculine neck up ways that so many of us have practiced. And then before you know, it's a whole other reality and you're vibrating differently. You're interacting with differently. And the interception that the ego mind creates starts to diminish. When it comes, you can kill it. You can notice it. You remember how in the Matrix when they'd be like, you hear that static? It's an interception. They could catch it and they could boom. They could catch it, abort ship, boom. They could catch it, fix it, catch it, fix it, catch it. So many of y'all, you so commonly get caught by fear and doubt and I don't know. And remember, it's all in the ecosystem for you to be like that. And doubt and fear. And I don't know who's going to save me. Like, who can help me? Am I going to look crazy? I'm going to make money. What's going to happen? I don't know. Can I handle it? Can I handle it? I'm going to be judged. It's all in the ecosystem for you to be like that. Remember, feminine has been stripped. Your full power has been stripped a long time ago before your mama, your grandmama, your grandmama, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmama. This was set up like this. So you got to have that in your system because when your system starts, when I say your mind, I mean your high mind, you're totally okay with it. But because so many of us are masculine in our ways of being, we cook and clean and fuck and suck, but we're very masculine in our ways of being and we're neck up. When the feminine starts to do its thing, your ego masculine mind is going to, bitch, you stupid, you're crazy. You're going to be worried about what men think, what your mama think, what society think, what people going to think. And this is in the ecosystem. We're not blaming you. You just need to be aware that this is happening. Okay? And this is so much bigger than you and me. This is huge. You need to be willing to look like a fool. You need to be willing to look embarrassed. You need to be willing to look like you don't know what you're doing. You need to be willing to penetrate things and feel like, I don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing, but you're responding to the call that's there all the time. Okay, isn't it true that it never goes away? For those of you who have knocked that thing down, you got instructions to do things and you knocked it down because it was inconvenient. It was uncomfortable. You was going to look like a fool. You didn't know how you was going to pay for things. You couldn't see 20 steps ahead. And because you was afraid that you couldn't see 20 steps ahead, you said, fuck it. And you abandoned ship. But then the thing keep coming back. But only this time you're 5 years older, which means you've been walking around with fear so you've deepened fear into your system for 5 more years, what makes it even harder to break out? Or if you had broke out and were obedient 5 years ago, you would have a cleaner system to work with. Okay, now here I want to say this. My whole system has been refined for danger. This has been experienced in the world. This is not because I read Run with the Wolves and I've watched a bunch of femininity videos, and because I took a course on this, and because I hired a coach to help me with that, and because I've read all these books and I went to go see a therapist. I've done this by walking the forbidden path for all of my life, on most of my life. My system is primed for danger. It has been refined to deal with vast amounts of energy. It has been refined to deal with danger. It has been refined to deal with the unknown. It has been refined to deal with the filth. It has been refined to deal with the forbidden. This is what your higher self wants and needs and calls for. Period. Period. You cannot buy this. You earn this. You work for it. You do things that are embarrassing for the rest of your life. You get yourself down for the rest of your life. If you need to lose everything, I have slept in my car. Listen, you gonna obey or you not? And trying to do a slither of it, well, I'll do this because this is, you see what I mean? Obedience is obedience. I don't tell you what obedience is. Your whole system tells you what to do. Your system tells you what to do. It's not what I say. It's not what nobody else says. It's what your system tells you, and you always know. Whether you will obey it is something else. Okay? Why am I telling you that my system has been refined for creating history? Because I'm prepared to do what it takes. The reason why you're not on my level is because most of y'all are not yet prepared to do what it takes. Your ego mind loves to think that you big and bad and ready. I'm ready. Stop calling me sis on top of that. Stop calling me sis. You love to think you're ready and all of that. Most women crash out. You love to think that you so, all is not. You're not. But please know this. For years, I was the one that'd be like, yes, let's go. You can do it. The problem is too many people crashed out and they couldn't. Now, my ideal highest self is like, let's go. You can do it. You will figure it out. Come on, let's go. Motherfuckers was crashing out. You need to go through baby steps. This is why they had in the mystery schools, you needed to matriculate yourself through. I would love for you to be ready now to move through the intensity of vast energy running through your body. I would love for you to be able to deal immediately right now with the high sensation of being killed. I would love for you to be able to move and navigate that right now. Because you know what we could do? Oh my God. But you can't handle it. Your nervous system can't handle it right now. Your body can't handle it right now. The part of you that's neck down cannot handle it. Okay? I'm telling you that so y'all need to respect this. So many people are not going to respect this because they ego big and loud. You need to respect your level. That even opens you up to the next level. If you're trying to just like that, it's kind of like for those of you who have teenage children and they think they know everything. And what do you say to their ass? Shut up. My niece was clowning. This was like 5 years ago. So she was like 20. Oh my God, talking so much shit. Just talking. I said, go take a nap. Go take a nap. You don't even, right? Because they don't know that they don't know. And that's how many of you are. You don't even know that you don't know. You need to respect your level, respect people who are clearly beyond you, who are clearly prepared today to go to places that in your ego mind, you think you're ready, you would love to go. But if you were actually there, you would crash out, you would be overwhelmed, you would need to take a nap, you would become lethargic, you would want to abandon ship, and you would find some kind of way to get out. This is spiritual. This is high level. You have to respect these kinds of things. If you are ready to refine, it's time for you to refine. It's time for you to refine. It's time for you to refine. You're ready to invest yourself, your being, your time, your money. I'm inviting you to come to one or both of these. One, my Womanhood Initiation. Maybe you've heard about me talk about this repeatedly. And or my God Power Workshop. Womanhood Initiation is considering an entry level. God Power Workshop is for those who are very clear that you're ready to command millions of eyeballs on the world stage. Check your ego. Check your ego. Not like, yeah! Does your whole being, even the part of you that is terrified, know that you're meant to be a part of creating history? That you're meant to be a front-facing authority and you're ready to invest the money to work with me to become that? God Power Workshop is for you. Both of them are at the link in my bio right now. Womanhood Initiation, God Power Workshop. Again, Womanhood Initiation, which is happening this Tuesday. God Power Workshop, which starts December 11th. Okay, so there's a space to navigate the glitch happening with the melanin dominant man. This is what I mean by you need to be developed to be able to deal with the ones who call themselves wanting to develop themselves. Because like the one who commented on my post, I could see where he had some wisdom and he wanted to be involved, but he clearly was not emotionally immature. And we just cannot, you're going to get the boot. You're going to get the boot. If you're not willing to grow up immediately, you're going to get the boot. That's what it is. Okay? Questions? Anybody have questions? Anybody want to, let me come over here and look at these comments. I see y'all comments. I'm going back here. The furthest I went back was a literal. I've been behaving masculine since I turned 18, 10 years later, and everything has collapsed. Listening to my body, hungry, thirsty, yes, need to do something. Oh, wait, must first analyze. I get discombobulated. My ego is relentless. Yeah, see? And that's when they, made your body a sin and did all of that shit, it's just like it just killed the connection. YouTube, can you hear me? I'm letting it keep going in case the sound is back. Is the sound back here on YouTube or no? You can really. Yeah, feel and listen. You correct. That's right. Been messing up for years. Scream, 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 scream. You gotta let it keep going. You can't, you know what I mean? You gotta let it keep going. You gotta let it keep going. You gotta let the energy flow. That's why I say embarrassing, right? Is it embarrassing to scream? Is it let the shit, I don't care. I don't give a damn. I will be in public. If I need to scream, stomp, it's happening. I let it flow. It's major, Ariel. Leaving everything. 24 years of marriage. Together since I was 15. That's major, man. Woo! Our bodies know how to survive on this planet. Thriving is a whole other thing. Built up tolerance. Yeah, that's... Helen, you can stay there. I'm telling you, that fear shit, in today's climate, with the access to knowledge and power that's just here, anybody who's it's so much fear, you might want to consider that you like it. If that's your go-to, if that's your hangout spot, if that's where you love to get comfortable, if that's it's so much fear. Oh, it's so much fear. Oh, so much fear. Oh my God, it's so much fear. Oh, so much fear. Is that how you get your rocks off? Some people, that's how they get their rocks off. That's their version of turn on, safety, orgasm, arousal. So much fear. So much fear. Ah! Do you like it, Helen? Do you prefer it? This is what I mean, girl. The power is here now. The knowledge, all of it is here now. All of it. Anybody who's in fear, they want to be there. Anybody who really wants to get a hold of their nervous system, as I always say, who's sincere, they're going to get that nervous system in check. You don't have to, don't wonder, do they really want it? When people really want it, like I said earlier, when they get desperate enough, when they finally hit the bottom. If somebody's still talking about fear, they ain't hit the bottom. If somebody's still talking about, I just overthink so much, I'm just such an overanalyzer, so much fear, they ain't hit the bottom yet. Keep living. Okay? All right, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm just waiting to see if there's any other questions. God Power Workshop, Womanhood Initiation. And we're, for those of you who may be, who are, you see yourself at Women in Italy next year, or us living together for 88 days at a time. The reason why I say 88 days is because that's the max within a 6-month window you can live in Italy without a visa. And you're ready to respect your level and then incubate together for 88 days in Italy to mature yourself inside of a beautiful, I love to harness beauty when doing hard things. Harness beauty while doing hard things. You shouldn't have to, but apparently so many people require that. Because the answer is right here, right now. You could have did it. Why are you not? Right? Inertia, comfortable, convenient, familiar. Because going in loops feels so much more safer and interesting.